Petitions for 7 different ballot issues for this year's election were turned in this week, with issues ranging from fracking well setbacks and transportation funding to campaign financing. The Secretary of State's office also announced that the issue to raise education funding officially qualified for the ballot. Patty, maybe not all of these will make the ballot, but they all had a pretty significant amount of petition signatures turned in. So even if 1 or 2 don't make it, it's still going to be a lot of issues and big issues, hefty, controversial issues in the ballot. Is there going to be enough political oxygen in the room for all of these issues?
Is there going to be enough airtime to buy on TV, on radio, for the incredible amount of advertising we're going to get, certainly from the oil and gas industry against 97? Then you also have the counter 108, which is private property protection. You've got the 2 transportation issues. I don't think the Independence Institute has a really, really deep bucket for that one, but you know the Chamber of Commerce is going to be pushing it very hard, the effort to raise money for roads. Education is going to once again be really bringing out a lot of money. And let's not forget, Denver looks like it's going to have at least 5 ballot initiatives that are just for Denver. You've got the mental health initiative to raise the sales tax. You have this Parks District raising sales tax, raise sales tax for college tuition, and there's food. Good food access. So we are going to be spending a lot of time in November trying to figure out exactly what is happening on the ballots. 71 was supposed to rein in a lot of this. Good for Colorado that it's working, that citizens can still push initiatives, and these are almost all initiatives that don't amend the Constitution.
I think, I'm not privy to the exact details, but I think the Institute's promotion plan for their initiative starts with Elise Caldera and a sandwich board kind of walking up and down 17th, which is a good start, you have to imagine.
And sponsoring on Channel 12.
That makes sense, absolutely. David, Initiative 97 gets a lot of the headlines. It's the anti-fracking proposal. It's the increased setbacks for wells. And the backers of the initiative make no bones about it. They're looking to get fracking out of Colorado. It at least feels to me that there's some commonalities between this for the left as the personhood amendment was for the right. That while it looks like it would be in common with some of the beliefs, it does go too far and probably won't get the support. But I could be wrong. What do you think?
I think that's a good comparison, because on both sides you have very strong and sincere, powerful moral beliefs that this activity is just wrong per se. You know, leave it in the ground, leave it in the womb. But the large middle of the country and of Colorado is okay with some restrictions on that, but does not want prohibition. And we saw that repeatedly in the votes on the personhood amendments. And we've seen it, I think we'll continue to see that on the fracking issue. Regulation is one thing, but having a setback that says we set it back so far that nobody can ever do it, you know, that's like saying, well, you can have abortion, but you have to have a 50-week waiting period between when you apply and when you can do it. The one that's made the issue, the ballot already, has been the education initiative, which is a constitutional amendment because it would, properly so, because it would drastically alter our taxpayers' Bill of Rights and control over tax increases. So they're doing that the right way in that sense. Colorado voters have historically been very willing, when their local school districts ask them for tax increases, to vote for that when there are specific plans for what they're going to do with the money. They've consistently rejected, saying, let's jack up our taxes hugely, send the money to Denver, and then hope that Denver sends some of the money back to our local school district.
Justine, for a second here in Colorado Inside Out, let's be optimistic. And let's say that everything makes the ballot. Which one do you think makes the biggest impact on the election?
You know, it's hard to tell. The ballot seems like it's going to be a very large ballot. I think definitely the education funding piece will be very important. Right now, you know, it's taxed on people $150,000 or more in the state. So basically, we've decided to tax the rich because Tabor has put us in the position where we have to do this in order to continue school funding. And I think as we're 47th, 48th, I don't know where we are right now at the moment in funding nationwide, but it's becoming a huge issue in Colorado, and we need to figure out how we're going to fix our school funding. So to me, that's going to be an issue that is going to be the most impactful as far as our future goes with our children and how we're going to move forward with education in the state.
Ross, I'm of the opinion that the transportation issues, because you really have, I guess, technically 3 choices. You can go with raising the taxes for transportation. You can go with just bond it with the current money in the general fund. Or you could say neither one, the roads are fine. I guess I'm not really sure who votes that way, but it's technically a possibility. That seems to me to speak to that middle of the road voters, the folks that may not be dyed-in-the-wool red or blue, but the folks like, yeah, I kind of waver between elections, but I do have an opinion about transportation funding. I don't know if that's going to get more attention or enough attention because of everything else in the ballot. When you look at all these ballot issues, assuming they all make it, what do you think?
I'm thinking of these right now as a group in the sense of you've got all these liberal things coming, raise the taxes for this, that, and the other thing, ban oil and gas more or less in the state of Colorado, raise taxes for roads. I actually think that these have the potential to be a pretty big boon for the Republican Party in Colorado, turning out people against all of these things. You know, I personally am against almost everything we've talked about except bonding for the roads without raising taxes. The Caldera thing actually is the only one that I'm for of all the things we've talked about so far. Although the independent panel for redistricting is very interesting, and that's something I support as well, and it's worth talking about at some point.